So I've been having an absolutely horrendous morning. And no, it wasn't because I was forced to play Pendulum against my will, although I would compare that experience to be about as fun as taking up bingo with the lads at the old folks home. And no, it wasn't because I was losing every single game with the decks I was testing. In fact, it was quite the opposite. I was winning a bit too much. So as you guys are full aware, Konami has just graced us with a brand new structure deck and a brand new boss monster to go with it. And all in all, I can't really complain about the actual contents of the structure deck or the quality of the boss monster, as honestly, the structure deck has quite a few decent reprints even if it hasn't really offered anything too new, and the actual boss monster, his effect is kind of alright and he's pretty easy to summon, but the boss monster does come with one major downside, and that is, it is the textbook definition of a win more card. Basically, the only way you're ever going to summon it is if you're in a position where you're already going to win the game. That is, 90% of the time, that is the case. Which means, every single time I tried to summon this card, in the 2-hour period of me testing this deck list, I was only able to summon it one time. One singular time. So if you're wondering when you go through the replays at the end of this video, why I've only got one replay of actually summoning the brand new boss monster, it's because every single opponent was conceding just as I was about to summon it, or as I was going for the summon, every single time it was about to come up, my opponent would concede. It is the textbook definition of a win more summon, since its condition to summon is basically an Xyz monster on field and a level 7 monster on field, which in Duel Links, if you're in that position, chances are your opponent has already used their disruption, they've got nothing left, and they were going to concede anyway. So, it's a little bit unfortunate. So I thought I'd just give a fair warning to every single person watching this video. If you do plan to build the deck list featured in this video, it is a very solid deck list. It will take you all the way to King of Games very goddamn easily. In fact, I climbed a bunch of ranks with it myself. But if you do plan to build it, keep in mind, the rate of you summoning your new boss monster isn't going to be that high, because you're just going to be winning too much. That is the most first world problem I think I've ever had. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and seeing more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, so apparently about 35% of people watching this are even subscribed to the channel, meaning 65% of you haven't even clicked that button yet. So if you guys are enjoying this content or see more videos just like this in the future, remember to leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into this deck list. Alright, so this deck list probably looks extremely familiar to you guys, and that's because, well, it is. It's a stock standard Odd Eyes deck list you would have seen for the past god knows how many months now. As although Konami did give us a brand new skill with their structure deck, and they gave us at least a couple of new cards with it, unfortunately, the skill is just a lot worse than the current Odd Eyes skills. There's no real point in playing it. I think this skill's even better at summoning your boss monster, so there's just no point in playing it. And as for new cards, and none of the new cards in there, or the one other new card, has anything to do with this deck list or helps it in any way, so we're not even running it. So the only actual new card in here is of course going to be your brand new boss monster, Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. So this card basically has a whole bunch of text, and we're going to ignore basically all of it because it doesn't really matter until you get to the last part of the card. Basically, if this card is Xyz summoned using an Xyz monster as material, it gains these effects. It can make a second attack during each battle phase, and it already has 3000 attack. Once per turn, you can attach one Xyz material from this card, destroy as many cards your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, this card gains 200 attack for each until the end of this turn. So essentially, if you can ever summon this card with an Xyz monster below it, your opponent is going to die, as you're going to board nuke the entire field, boost this card's attack to god knows how much, it already has 3000 attack, and it can attack multiple times a battle phase. So this card is basically a win condition for the deck list, and if you ever get to summon it, you're going to win the game that turn. So how exactly are we summoning this brand new boss monster? Well, the first thing we're doing is we're praying to God our opponent doesn't concede, as like I said during the intro portion, by the time you reach the step where you can probably summon this card, your opponent has probably already conceded. It's a hella win more card. That being said though, if you do get to a point where you can summon it, it's pretty goddamn easy to do so, and anyone that's actually played this skill before probably already knows how it works. Because essentially, you activate your skill by taking one of your Pendulum Dragon dudes, chucking them in the extra deck, it places 2 scales on the field, one of which is going to be your... this card, and the other one's going to be your... the other one. And basically, their effects make it extremely easy to Xyz summon out your big boss monster, because one of them will just take your Xyz monster and say, hey, you can now use it as a material for an Xyz summon, and the other one will just say, hey, you can now take that card's level, make it the same as another level 7 you have on the field, and there's your 2 materials, summon out your big boss monster as much as you want. As for the rest of the deck list, honestly, I'm not going to bother going through it here, as you guys have probably seen all these cards before, and if you haven't, don't worry, you'll see them during the gameplay anyway, and I'll probably explain how they work generally anyway. The only last thing I want to mention about this deck list is, if you do have 3 copies of your Spiral Flame Strike, you should probably be playing it. I'm just only playing 2 because I only own 2. But if you have another one, maybe toss another one in instead of maybe a Lance or instead of an Ice Dragon's Prison or something. Maybe give it a go. I'm not sure if I prefer 2 or 3, but yeah, give it a go anyway. And without further ado, let's jump into some actual gameplay. Alright, so fair warning, as I've already said this at the start of the video, but in case you missed it, I only got to summon this boss monster 1 singular time. In the 2 hours I was playing this deck list, as you can see, it was like 13:11 here, finished at 14:54. In the 2 hours I was playing this deck list, I only got to summon this big boy 1 time. That's just because opponents were conceding as I'm about to get into it, or it just didn't really make sense to, as this card is just the ultimate win more card. So if you're expecting all these replays to cover this boss monster, unfortunately that's just not going to happen, as I wasn't able to summon it all that often. It's in the final replay, you will see it, but don't expect to see it any other time, so I don't want to see any complaints in the comments being like, you only summoned it once? I'm warning you now, I'm only going to summon it once, okay? Alright, let's get into the replays. Alright, yeah, it's a bit of a shame. This deck list is... I'm really disappointed the new structure deck didn't offer a whole lot of new cards that just made this particular deck list stronger, or at least incentivized us to actually play the brand new skill, because the new skill is just straight up worse than this one, so there's like no reason not... there's no reason not to play this one. It's... I don't know, I think Konami really messed up with the structure deck. It has some decent reprints at least, and the boss monster, like I said, it can be played in this deck and it's fine to do so, it's just... it doesn't really do a whole lot. Alright, activating our Spiral Flame Strike, searching for our dude, that's so we can make the 2 level 7s. Activating our skill, then Pendulum summoning out our 2 level 7s. Making our Dragon Doomrider, you're going to be seeing him a lot this video. Setting 2 cards and passing. Opponent activates Cosmic, thankfully, he's a bad aim. Goes for his Fan Knight stuff, goes into his monster. Break Sword can be trying to destroy my card. I basically, as soon as you see this card, by the way, and you have a copy of your Ice Dragon's Prison on the field, you just wait for it to detach, because as soon as it does so, you banish the card he detaches, banish it, and that's just it. He just can't play anymore. Normally it means his effects wouldn't resolve either, but he targeted this one for some reason instead of his own monster, which is odd. Normally you target your own monster, because he summoned out 2 level 4s, but anyway. Alright. So he's searching for a trap card. All this stuff really doesn't matter too much, though I don't really care. So I top deck into a Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, which I'm now going to summon out. And here, by the way, I actually have the opportunity to summon out my boss monster, but I don't know why you would. If you summon it here, it's just prone to just 1 lot of back row, which as you can see, it would have got Kanadi'd if I did so. So you wouldn't really want to summon it here, so I don't. But you could summon it here if you wanted to. Wings bust my monster, and he's dead. I think he was trying to summon back the Canadia or something. I don't really know what happened there, either way. Maybe he just wanted me to end it all. Alright. Replay number 2, and I think this was the pseudo mirror match. I think he was using the new skill. He summoned Roach against me. So the cool thing about this Pendulum deck, or one of the unique sort of features it has, is because it has so many sort of rank 4s, or level 4s, you can have such an extensive rank 4 toolbox in here. So if you know your opponent is playing, for example, if your opponent is playing Bandit Keith, they're probably playing Orcust. You can summon out your Abyss Dweller, same if you think they're playing the Salamangreat. Against decks like this, where you see that Pendulum Scales, you just summon out Roach. Or if you see they're summoning Synchro Monsters, you just summon out Roach. All of a sudden, they can't summon them anymore. So both these cards are fantastic at dealing with those decks. And generically, you can also just summon out a copy of your Giant Hand, which just negates a monster effect, so keep that in mind. You'll see it a bunch throughout these replays, but I thought I'd bring that up here, because you're about to see my opponent do exactly that against me, even with the new skill. And so we had to hard draw his scales, as you can see they're a bit suboptimal, not the greatest scales. I mean, he's only going to summon out level 4s or something. I guess he's Donkey. Alright, and he's just going to go into a Roach. Because Roach, if you didn't know, if you try to Pendulum summon into Roach, any monster above level 5 will just get removed instantly. It won't even get to summon itself. So, alright, get my 2 scales, use my Joker to search for my card I want to summon. Because in this case, I don't want to summon anything above level 5 for my Pendulum summon, because this card will stop it summoning. So I'm just going to summon a bunch of level 4s, and beat him to death for that. Second Donkey getting 2 searches, unfortunately I only have one target in the deck. And going into a copy of your Dark Rebellion, which also has an animation with this deck. 3 different animations in this list. Alright. Beating him in the face, beating over his other boy, and passing the turn with only an Ice Dragon's Prison to protect myself, which isn't the worst. So as soon as he summons 2 monsters, I'm getting rid of that shit, just in case he summons some other bullshit rank 4 or something. And he concedes. Alright, on to replay in number 3. Mr. Very interesting name of just literally all Ks. Alright. And this is the Salad players. This is the game where I was talking about with the toolbox. I'm just going to summon out my Abyss Dweller instantly, because I know this deck list struggles really goddamn hard against Abyss Dweller. Alright. So I'm not sure if I was able to summon... I don't think I was able to summon out my other monster though in doing so. Alright, so I'm normal summon my Joker, search for my Donkey. And from here, I'm just going to go into my Pendulum summon, then have 2 level 4s on field to go into my Abyss Dweller. So I'm pretty certain he's playing Salad unless he's baiting me. Which he could be doing, but... yeah. Normally if you see this character, you know he's playing Salad. So search my Joker, follow up on the next turn. Gonna go into my Abyss Dweller, and we're passing there. Alright, he has an MST, which is a little bit rough, not too bad though. I activate my Abyss Dweller as soon as I see he's playing Salad. No reason to hold on to it. Cyanide Mining, searching for a Coda, so that made things a little bit more scary, because he's not just playing pure Salad. Not sure if he played this ultimately, he might have had some way, he even had another extender, so even with Abyss Dweller he was still kind of popping off. Very scary stuff. A better Salad Code Talker player may even have lethal for me here. I'm not really sure if he played it optimally or not. Summon his Gazelle, send his card to the graveyard, he can't even use it, so I don't care. Go into his Security Dragon for 1 Lodder removal. And goes for his Encode Talker for some reason, a bit random. Yeah, I have no idea why he went for Encode Talker. Bit of my card and pass the turn. Bit of an interesting end board. Alright, Joker can just go search for my Odd Eyes. Alright, summon the level 4, summon the level 7. Go into my Dark Rebellion. Alright. And here, I have the opportunity once again where I have 2 level 7 dudes on field, where I could activate this card and make this card level 7, activate the other one, make it be able to use into material, go into the boss monster and lethal him on field. But my opponent hits the fat concede button. And this was my experience all morning, by the way. So this is why you don't get to see me summoning out the boss monster all that often, because, yeah, I had it once again, another replay where I could have summoned it, opponent conceded. I think, to be fair, honestly, I got unlucky. I'm pretty certain if anyone else was playing this deck list, they probably would be able to summon the boss monster a lot more often than I did. It's just, I got so unlucky. People just kept conceding, man. Yeah, if you play this deck list, you'll probably summon it a lot more than me. I just got unlucky. And like I said, it's the most first world problem ever of just being able to win too much. Anyway. Alright, summon my Joker, searching for your Donkey. 2 scales. Summon out the boss monster. Alright. I think here here once again I was gonna go and try for it. I have 2 Lance in hand, so I'm thinking 2 back row, I'm set. I can easily summon the boss monster. Go to use this card's effect, making me able to use it as a material. Go to use the other one to change it to level 7, and he activates Crackdown. So the downside of using Lance in this deck list over like a Cosmic or an MST is if you use Lance on this card, it's immune to your own Pendulum scales because they're spells. So this card, it doesn't change its level. So once again, I could have summoned the boss monster here, but I got cuffed. I didn't even realize that until this moment that it wouldn't change, that it wouldn't let me use it. So I was like, oh my god, really? I was very annoyed at this replay. Either way, gonna use my Lance before he does his Link Summon. He has a normal summon anyway, so he still can do so, but I have Ice Dragon's Prison, which, as you guys know, is fantastic into Orcust, banishing his cards, and yeah, he's pretty much doomed here. I think his last back row wasn't even activatable. Oh, actually, you can do a cool replay here. So, use my Joker, searches for your Nobledragon Magician. Actually, didn't know this card's name until now. Can summon itself to the field by reducing your dude's level to level 4. So you have a 4, a 3, and a 4, which is equal to 11. So there is your Trishula, and you can banish everything on the field. Not going to banish my own card though, because I get it back anyway. Yes, there's a Trishula replay for you guys, if you're wondering why Trishula's in this extra deck. Alright, where was I up to? So I just finished Jeff, right? I'm on Garou, I think. Alright. What was Mr. Garou playing? Oh, this was the Yugi gameplay. He's playing Dark Magician. Alright, so I think I summoned a giant hand turn 1 with this one. And also did the interesting way to get out 2 level 7s. So with this hand, I wanted to still get out 2 level 7s and still have the 2 level 4s, I believe. So I'm going to go for my Pendulum Summon, summoning out my 2 dudes, search for my Joker, and with Joker, once again, I'm going to actually search for the Tuna Monster. Because with the Tuna Monster, I can special summon him to the field, and go into the Synchro Dragon, Odd Eyes Meteor, which can actually bring back your Pendulum Scale and place it on the field, so you have 2 level 7s. Which means I still have my 2 level 4s to use for making it the hand, and have my Doomrider on field. There we go. So we have a pop and a negate, and we have my 2 Ice Dragon's Prisons. So as soon as my opponent goes for his normal summon of his Conjurer, I'm going to negate that, hoping that he doesn't actually have the spell card in hand already, or doesn't have multiple copies of it, because that would be very bad. Alright, sets 2 and passes. Place my new scale, Pendulum Summon out. Alright, Treacherous Trap Hole. I'm going to pop his card. And unfortunately, I lose all my monsters. But I still have two copies of Ice Dragon's Prison ready, and he's got now Spellcaster and Grave, so I'm not exactly fast. And I think if he was able to use this back row, he literally already would have used it. Yeah, so he just concedes. Alright, 2 more replays. We're nearly at the replay where I summoned it. It's coming, don't worry. It's coming. This was a Chronomaly gameplay. That's a pretty decent one, I'm pretty sure, because he had a misplay at the end that looked amusing anyway. Alright. So he's gonna do standard Chronomaly stuff, summons Nebra Disc, searches for Skull, discards Skull, grab his Maui. And I'm pretty sure he actually already had a Maui, so he should search for the spell card here. I think he just completely misplayed. This should have been the spell card search, because then he could grab potentially more back row or something from his deck. Yeah, a bit odd. I think he only ended on 1 Xyz monster, so I don't know why you would do that. Anyway. Alright, so I'm just going to be Pendulum Summoning out my monsters. Now, this card actually has a really cool effect. I actually forgot when I activated my Flame Strike. I was going to do this anyway, I'm pretty sure, but I actually forgot until afterwards that I had this card. Because this card can actually target light monsters and negate them. It has an effect you wouldn't really remember, because it's normally just a scale, but yeah, this can actually target this and negate it. I'm going to try and pop it. He has a Forbidden Lance, which protects it, bit rough. I'm now going to try and negate it with my, whatever Magician's name is. Go into my Doomrider, which is now pop his card on the field. And unfortunately, he has Ice Dragon's Prison, which is a... Again, I could have gone to the boss monster here if he didn't have this, but unfortunately, yeah, he had it. But also, unfortunately, he banished the wrong card. This card couldn't have attacked this turn, and it had no materials below it. It would have done literally nothing. But he banished it in anyway, meaning I now have a card that does double damage to my opponent if it battles a monster, and it's about to get a massive attack boost from banishing this card, or destroying this card. So 4,000 attack, double damage, hits his monster and kills him. Yeah, good one, buddy. Good job. Alright. And final replay. The replay you've all been waiting for. The replay that took me 2 hours to get. Still can't believe that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure anyone else playing this deck list, you'll get this replay in the first 10 minutes of playing. But me, no. I had to wait 2 hours before someone didn't concede and let me do it. Alright. So off we go. We're up against a Synchron player. You had a pretty rough starting hand by the looks of things. So we're going to be summoning out my Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, or show off the animations one final time. Actually has a pretty decent animation. Alright. Signing my dude, going into my level 7. Hitting his monster and passing. I saved the lance in hand because I thought he would have some sort of back row to stop me, but he didn't. Otherwise I would have set the lance, obviously. Has a Night Beam of all things. Guess that is one lot of back row removal that exists. It's not the worst. Alright, so we're just going to pop his Junk Synchron as soon as we can, just because Junk Synchron, obviously, without a tuner, he can't do anything, so just popping that. Alright, beating over his card, top decking the worst top deck in my deck. And here it is. Here is the turn we summon it. Alright. So Pendulum summoning. Out comes our Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. And Neighbor's going to ruin the replay with that card on. Great. Alright. Xyz summoning out Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. Finally. Only took, what, a 20-minute video, however long this is? Crazy animation, though, to be fair. Definitely one of the better ones in Duel Links. Alright, fat board nuke, 3600, double attack, and he's dead in one attack anyway. Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I should have a bunch of other Duel Links videos planned for later this week. I have a tier list video, and obviously the new box coming out very soon, new Speed Road character, all that kind of stuff. So remember to subscribe if you want to see all that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.